We're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
An hour ago, you didn't need a plumber. Now you're in a panic. When life throws you a surprise with a clogged drain, plugged or leaky toilet, broken pipe, leaky faucet or water heater, or a bathroom or kitchen plumbing upgrade, whatever. Just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Keep that number handy, 467-1111. Or go to BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Ah, the sounds of back to school time. Oh. There's plenty to about this time of year. So let Cane's take something off your plate by putting something on it. Like the most craveable hand-battered cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. It's going to be a great school year.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
When you're outdoors beneath Nebraska skies, adventure comes in all sizes. From quick escapes and long weekends to true off-the-grid retreats. Paddle, hike, camp, explore. Whether you have a few hours or a few days, we'll guide you to a state park or recreation area that's a perfect fit. Start your next adventure today at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Power Hour with two-time national champion Todd Uhlir. Powered by Window World of Lincoln and SetTheBarSups.com.
All right. I was muted. Welcome to the Power Hour here on 93.7 The Ticket, your Saturday morning dose of energy, insight, and locker room talk that fires you up to dominate your week. I'm your host, Todd Uhlir, and it's time for episode 48. And trust me, this one's a heavyweight. All right, today we're sitting down with Buck Rasmussen, right? Super Bowl champion, former NFL defensive lineman, University of Omaha football standout, and now the man behind BuckRasmussen.com. helping people get strong in the gym and life. And we're talking about what it takes to play for Bill Belichick and with Tom Brady, right? Earn a ring with the Patriots, transition out of football, and build a new legacy with faith, family, and fitness at the core. So grab your cranium. That's what I'm drinking. And let's lock in for the next hour. This is a can't miss conversation with a guy who's been in the trenches on and off the field. So, all right, let's dive in. Our guest today, once again, is a guy who embodies everything great about Nebraska grit, right? Small town roots, and I kind of have that same feeling, right? A fierce work ethic and a story that took him from local fields to the biggest stage in football. He grew up right here in the heartland, played his college football at the University of Nebraska, and now let's welcome to the show Buck Rasmussen. Welcome, bud.
Todd, thank you so much. I'm super pumped up to be here. Good morning.
Yeah, morning. It's always awesome when I get to talk to people that, you know, I won a couple national championships, and you know, I tell people, like, I was on the team. It's not like I saw a bunch of field time, but you got to play at the highest level. But let's go way back to growing up in Takema, Nebraska, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, where is Takema? Like, I think I've been there once.
Well, I think you were too. I don't know if you. Well, I remember Battle Creek used to kick Takema's butt in the playoffs.
We came up there and played in the playoffs. That would have been 1980,
89, maybe
88.
Okay.
My brother Tony's senior year.
Okay,
yep.
so
and you guys
I
are purple too? Are you purple?
We were purple and gold too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a memory there. So Takema was pretty good back then. My brothers are both older, and I have a memory of you guys pulling up in your buses. And you know, you always want the big dudes to get off the bus first. The big dudes never stopped getting off the bus.
Right. Yeah.
It was incredible. I'm like, what is in the water in Battle Creek? And I remember my brothers talking about that. Everybody was like, whoa, we're in for it now. So yeah, there was some lore around Battle Creek, and the Uhlir name too. It was just like, man, they just produced studs in that family.
Yeah.
So man. But I grew up in Takema.
Yeah, Takema. So it's north of Blair?
Yeah, it's north of Blair. So it's about, nowadays with the 4-lane highway up there, it's about 45 minutes from Bennington, which is where I live. So hop, skip, and a jump. The town's really growing. It's amazing how they're kind of redeveloping everything. They some development on Main Street. They put a bunch of money into the school, so it looks cool. When I was there, you know, typical small town Class C football. Obviously, I didn't know any better, but I look back on that. I would not change that for the world. I mean, just an amazing experience growing up like that. Now, and maybe you could relate with this, but you look back at the what ifs, if you know, with your physical stature and speed and everything, I'm like, well, what if I would have played at a bigger school in high school? You know, what would my college recruiting would have looked like? But I also look back and I look at my life now and I'm like, well, thank God it all just worked out the way it did.
Right. Absolutely. Growing up in a small town, I wouldn't change it for the world. You know, I sent my son to Battle Creek. I just thought that was like the right thing to do. And even though he could have played at Norfolk, I still thought, let's go play at Battle Creek, even though there's C1, C2. Just for that aspect of, you get to play both sides of the ball, right? You get to be involved with the game a lot more. And like I said, like, there's just I hear that story so often about the bus.
Do you really?
I do. Like, everybody has that story, and most of the time is, you know, guy would step off and the bus would shake. Guy would step off and the bus would shake. And that's
well, that might have happened, but you know how it is. The stories get a little bit more elaborate as time passes by.
We were a juggernaut. Yeah, we were a juggernaut back then.
You guys were crazy, and obviously the Uhlir name is prominent, but the Volk. I remember the Volk name was big, and I wrestled. That was my first love. I wrestled a lot as well, and I remember wrestling a Volk kid at districts, which my senior year actually was at Battle Creek, and he was a younger kid. But then I played with Dave Volk in NFL Europe. and got to know him a little bit. We were, to me, I love football. You love football. The worst position on a football team is on the wedge on kickoff return.
Oh yeah.
They don't do that anymore, but
right.
That was terrible because there's crazy dudes like you running down and trying to bust it.
Yeah.
But Dave and I were on the wedge together in Amsterdam when we played there. And so I have memories of that. But anyway, back to the original question. So growing up in a small town in Tacoma, it harkens back to like an older time. These kids are raised so much different now, but we literally, me and most of my friends, we grew up in the country for the most part. If we didn't grow up in the country, we went to the country a lot, just driving around, jacking around, fishing, doing whatever, riding dirt bikes and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, there was football and there was wrestling and track and all that kind of stuff. But that's the other beauty of it. I was able to do all of those things, and be a little bit more well-rounded. But the biggest thing in Tacoma is wrestling. And it always was wrestling. They won state titles in the 70s and the 80s. We won 2 in the 90s when I was there. And then they got second like 3 years in a row, I think, in the early 2000s. So it shaped everything we were and everything we did. And for me as a young kid, it's basically a free sport. Mm-hmm. We didn't have any money as a family. We also had a huge family and times were tough. And I look back at my upbringing and I can honestly say that everything I learned really about hard things in life, hard things in sports as I move forward is from youth wrestling. Mm-hmm. Really. And just having, there was a leader there. There was a guy that ran, he was our head coach for decades, Guy Mitty, and just one of the best leaders I've ever met. But also the dads within the community, everybody was invested in that wrestling program. So it really created my background and my foundation for everything having to do with sports. And then it translated to football.
Awesome. So that's the other thing with small towns is it's not that you get to do all the sports. It's like you have to.
Well, yeah, they need you, right?
Yeah, they have to. Like, you don't have a team if you don't go out, right? So, and especially if you were halfway somewhat talented at all, like if so that was always fun. But I also have the same memory of youth wrestling being the hardest thing I ever did, and I love basketball. Like, I love basketball, and so my freshman year I went out for basketball instead of wrestling, and I was like, I hated wrestling, like I hated it, like because it was hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. It's the hardest sport I've ever done, and well, maybe golf, but physically hardest, right? Golf's maybe mentally the hardest.
Yeah, golf's tough because it's the only sport. The harder you try at it, the more you suck.
Right.
I'm terrible.
So I go out for basketball my freshman year, and my basketball coach, I knew I was going to play football at the University of Nebraska. That was the goal from like 5 years old. And my basketball coach, Dana Schultz, promised I could lift at least twice a week after practice, if I went out for basketball. And so, okay, I'll do that. And, after we got to Christmas break, and I hadn't been in the weight room once because he wouldn't stick around for me. So I called the wrestling coach, Coach Gray. I don't know if you remember Coach Gray.
I know that name, yeah.
And said, hey, what's wrestling practice look like? And he said, well, we change, we get out of school, we change, and then we go to the weight room for an hour. And I said, all right, I'll be there on Monday.
Really? You guys lifted. That's interesting.
Yeah, we lifted we were football school, man. We weren't a wrestling school.
You were, yeah.
I
get that.
Cody Wentz now at Battle Creek has just won 2 state titles back to back. Won his first state dual championship. They don't lift right after school. we were a football program. So, at what point, did you know football was going to be more than just a high school sport for you?
So when I was 5, this is kind of part of our family lore, but I told my mom that I wanted to play in the NFL when I was 5. And that's a crazy dream. Everybody wants that, right? Me and all my friends, we wanted to be, I wanted to be part of the Chicago Bears. It was the 80s, and then they wanted to be part of the 49ers. And but that dream, I think it starts to kind of fade away for people. But for me, it just never did. And it just kind of kept growing and growing. And it was weird because, I was a pretty good athlete. I was always a good wrestler. In football, though, I went from 5'8" and about 145 in 8th grade to 6'4" and about 185 in 9th grade, like by the time football started. So it was like this wild 6-month quick growth spurt, and I was really weird and awkward. So then the dream started to fade away. I'm like, whoa, I'm so far away. And then watching the Huskers back then and guys like you and people in the late 80s, early 90s and Huskers is like, oh, okay, that's a different athlete than me. But sometimes that dream would fade a little bit, but it would always come back stronger. And I would get I'd do something on the football field that gave me a little bit more confidence and a little bit more confidence. And then you'd grow more from that. And so that NFL dream never faded away. Now, my journey to get there, though, there was nothing but obstacles, nothing but adversity. And so, but still, it was just always, that was the thing I was going to do. No matter what happened, I was going to do it. People thought I was crazy. I thought I was crazy, but it worked out.
So you get recruited in, obviously not at a D1 level, right? You go play at the university. Well, you probably did. Maybe you did get recruited at D1 level.
Well, I signed with Nebraska as a preferred walk-on. So I was really late in the recruiting process. I didn't know, but my coach wasn't sending out my film until like midway through my senior year. So I really wasn't on the map. And then the film started to go out, and then I got a bunch of D2 offers, a bunch of attention from the smaller D1, the Colorado States and Wyomings and all that kind of stuff. And so I had full ride opportunities a lot of places. And then Nebraska offered me a preferred walk. Went down to a couple of game day visits and stuff. They offered me a preferred walk on, and you know how it is as a Nebraska kid back then. It's just like, check, I'm doing that. I don't care if there's no money there. We'll figure out the money. I'm going. So, but the problem was a week before I graduated from high school, I got a letter from the NCAA clearinghouse notifying me that I didn't qualify academically. Yeah. So I had a good ACT. I had a good GPA, but I had one semester of geometry that I failed. And it was because I had a couple surgeries in that semester. I missed a bunch of class, and I just couldn't really get caught back up. So they wouldn't bump my grade up, even though I had like a B+ my first semester. And they're like, no favoritism to athletes. And I'm like, favoritism? I have like a 69.9. Just bump it up at 0.01%. Let's go.
You should have been at Battle Creek. It wouldn't have been a problem.
I love that, man. Yeah, preferential treatment to athletes. That's what we do here.
How it worked.
Yeah, but no, they wouldn't do it. And but their whole thing that their whole argument was that it doesn't matter. Just take business, math, and you'll graduate and you go to college. You'll be fine with your grades and your whatever. Wow. But it did come back to haunt me.
Yeah.
And so I met with Tom Osborne and Charlie McBride, and they gave me a list of JUCOs to go tour. And my dad and I jumped in the truck and toured a bunch of them and settled on Ellsworth Community College in Iowa. And reluctantly signed there. And a week before training camp, my buddies and I were out in Valentine, tubing the Niobrara, and we got in a head-on collision with a truck, and I screwed my neck up really bad. My buddy got life flighted to Omaha. I screwed my neck up. I was told I could never play football again. And so I didn't do anything at Ellsworth Community College. I came back to Omaha and went to Metro for a year. And so obviously, they don't even have sports teams, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, but it kind of goes back to, when did you know that football was going to be more than just a high school sport? Well, call me crazy, but I just kind of, even though the doctor said I could never play football again, I just kept lifting and running. And I remember I went to Gold's Gym on 108th and Ford in Omaha every day after taking classes at Metro, and I'd lift for like 2 hours. And then I just find whatever football field and I would just run. And I don't know, I just figured it would work out. And then, the name Lance Leipold?
Yeah, absolutely.
The head coach at KU.
Yeah.
He was the offensive coordinator at UNO, and he's the one that recruited me initially out of high school. He was swinging back through Tacoma to recruit another kid around that time, and he just asked our head coach, Coach Hunt, what's Buck up to? It kind of fell off the map, and he told him what I was doing, and he's like, he's in shape. Do you think he'd talk? And I was willing to talk, so they offered me a full ride. And that's how I ended up at UNO.
Okay, awesome. That's a crazy.
Yeah,
a lot of obstacles is right. So you got hurt in high school as well.
A lot. I dislocated both shoulders and my kneecap in high school. So I had my shoulder reconstructed when I was a sophomore. And then I never did have my knee worked on, which came back to haunt me in college.
Is that I'm assuming that's the only way that my little brother beat you in wrestling, is that you were injured.
How much did he pay you to say that?
Right. He said, well, I beat him in wrestling. And I'm like, you did? Like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Can I give the backstory?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So he was a senior and I was a sophomore, and I dislocated my kneecap the match before. And my coach was like, you've already qualified. Like you're in to state. It was at districts. It was the one at Battle Creek. I think maybe, yeah. Anyway,
Battle Creek, yeah.
Seemed like it. But he's just like, forfeit this match. And I'm like, I'm not gonna forfeit a match, but Tommy might have beat me anyway. He was tougher now.
He was pretty good. Yeah.
But I do have a couple excuses there.
I figured when he told me he beat you, I said he had to have been injured. I didn't tell Tommy that, but I just had a thought in my head. Crazy wrestling story for you. I hated wrestling, right? But I did it all 4 years. My senior year, I'm at 189. I lose in the semis 3-1 to the eventual state champ. I have to drop down and wrestle back, and I got to wrestle this freshman kid named what's his name? Andy Christensen. Andy Christensen from Fort Calhoun.
Oh, really?
He's a freshman.
Monty. Was it Monty?
No, it was Annie, his little brother.
Yeah.
Monty was so I dropped and I'm literally sitting next to this kid, and he's like, dude, how much do you bench press? And I'm like, like 280. He's like, man, I can barely do 185, and I got to wrestle this guy. And I don't know if he was playing a mind game with me or what, but went out and we ended up rolling around forever. It was the worst match of my life. I did win. Yeah. So I'm one of the very few losses on Andy Christensen's resume, because he went on to win 3 state titles.
Trust me, I know, because he beat me. Trust me, I know, because I wrestled him in the state finals my junior year, and he beat me.
Yeah, so
we're cousins.
Isn't that crazy? Like
that is nuts, man. But it's amazing how all that stuff, like you have so many different connections to people that ended up being really successful and different, not just wrestling or football, it could be basketball. It's like, well, we competed against each other, and I beat you, that's cool. He kicked my butt in the state finals my junior year.
He was good.
And we're cousins. So our moms are cousins. Our moms' dads are twin brothers.
Okay.
Yeah. So another weird connection.
Good dude. So
so
let's real quick before we go. We got to go to break here. But what are some of your favorite, like UNO football? Obviously not here anymore, unfortunately. And we talked about this yesterday. Like, man, does UNL need something like a UNO right now, right? For what's going on in the college football landscape. But what were some of who were some of the guys you played with? I'm sure or some of your locker room experiences, or what's something that you took away from UNO?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, the coolest thing is, and you know how it is when you look back at your college football career, the best thing you got was the relationships.
Absolutely.
And some of my best friends that I still hang out with, and our wives are friends and our kids are friends, were from then. And so that was amazing. My best football memories, though, my junior year, we had a defense that was at that time one of the best ever in Division II football. And we had multiple NFL guys on that, just on the D line. Chris Cooper was my roommate at the time. He was older than me. He ended up playing for the Raiders for a long time. But he was a right D end. I was a left D end. And then we had a dude, Rich McCleskey, in the middle that was, he was an NFL guy, but he's 5'11" and a half as a D tackle. And it's like, well, you're not 6 foot. It's like, well, who cares? He was so explosive. And anyway, I think he went on and played in the Arena League forever and just killed it. A legend in the Arena League. So, and then behind us, our linebackers were studs, and and we were deep too. And that level of football, it's hard to have that depth.
Right.
But that was the most fun I ever had playing football, because it just didn't matter who we played. We just locked them down. We just destroyed people. And when you're on a team, and it could be a business team, it could be a wrestling team, it could be a football team, but when you're on that team and you have that chemistry, and that flow.
Yeah.
There's nothing better in life than having that type of flow.
Nothing. So I was lucky enough to play on a state championship football team that was like that. Like, we literally, I mean, you can go watch us play Wood River on YouTube. They do have that against Scott Frost. You want to talk about a butt kicking? That was so much fun.
Really?
Yeah, it's my son always gives me heck about it because he's like, "Dad, you look slow," and I'm like, "Whatever, I wasn't slow." I said, he's like, "Well,
it's the film. It's old film."
Yeah, it's VHS, but yeah. So it ended up, at the end of the radio announcers, they put it to the radio and everything. It's a pretty cool little thing. But the radio guy's like, "Yeah, our player of the game's Todd Uhlir with 311 yards, 5 touchdowns, an interception, and a fumble recovery." Had a pretty good game.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. In Wood River High School, actually, it's on their thing. Battle Creek didn't do it. Wood River did.
Oh, really?
So I thought it was pretty interesting. So
that is so fun to look back on.
Yeah, it's so much fun, and just being that dominant, and then for me going into Nebraska, I lost 7 football games from junior high through college. 7.
It's different than me.
That's crazy. So it was you're just expected to win, right? And you do what it took to win. And we had a great coach with Coach Schnitzler, and I was literally in his basement 2 weeks ago getting old VHSs of our games because he's like, "Well, clear these out." So I haven't been able to watch any of them because I don't have a VHS. So
yeah, you got to get them converted. So is he lives in Battle Creek still?
Yep, he still lives in Battle Creek.
That's cool. Man. That's awesome.
All right, man. What a great look into your roots and the journey that started it all from the small town to Nebraska, University of Nebraska to Omaha. Stick around because in our next segment, we're diving into your time in the NFL and what that looks like. You're listening to the Power Hour on 93.7 The Ticket. Segment 1 was brought to you by WindowWorldLincoln.com, where you can set the bar for your home with windows, siding, doors, and more. We'll be right back.
When you're outdoors beneath Nebraska skies, adventure comes in all sizes. From quick escapes and long weekends to true off-the-grid retreats. Paddle, hike, camp, explore. Whether you have a few hours or a few days, we'll guide you to a state park or recreation area that's a perfect fit. Start your next adventure today at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Tread Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Tread Central Tire Pros because we tread differently.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Looking for a fun way to give back? Join us for the 2025 Kicks for Kids Nebraska Fun Run Walk, presented by Pinnacle Bank, on Saturday, August 23rd at James Arthur Vineyard. Enjoy a scenic 5K through beautiful grounds. Every step helps provide shoes to kids in Lincoln and Lancaster County schools, with options for adults, wine included, and kids. Registration fees include a t-shirt, medal, and bag. Sign up today and make a difference at kicksforkidsnebraska.org.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Uhlir, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Hi, I'm Eli Barnes, Assistant Vice President at Midwest Bank at the 70th and Pioneers and 27th Jamie Lane locations. I love working with families and small businesses right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Banking shouldn't be complicated, and that's why we make it personal. Whether it's opening your child's first account or securing a loan for your next big step, I'm here to help. Stop in today and say hello. I'd love to meet you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake. Nebraska football opens their season on Thursday, August 28th in Kansas City, and you can be a part of the best pregame tailgate party with Blur Events, live from Kauffman Stadium, home of the Royals. Doors open 4 hours before kickoff with a live DJ promoting interactive competitions and giveaways, tailgate games like cornhole, flip cup, and beer pong, access to ballpark concessions, and available air conditioning. Book your tickets today at blurevents.com/Kansas City and hang with 93.7 The Ticket on the scene prior to Nebraska versus Cincinnati on August 28th. 93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to the Power Hour with Todd Uhlir on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I love that music. All right, welcome back to the Power Hour. That could be a little tongue twister. Brought to you by setthebarsups.com. Premium supplements that help you train harder, recover faster, and dominate life. Now, in segment 2, we're going to shift gears and dive into Buck's journey to the pros, right? From a small town, Nebraska. How big is Takema? How many people were in there?
Oh, sorry, I was muted there, I think. Takema, right around 1,800 people.
Okay.
Takema Herman now, we're consolidated there, have been since the 70s. So it's Takema Herman. So total of around 2,000 people.
Okay, about 2,000. All right, that's 1,000 more than Battle Creek.
Is that right?
Small. Yeah, when I was in Battle Creek, there was like 900 people. That's it.
How did you guys have so many studs? I just still never get it.
It was crazy. It's the water, right? So now we're going to talk about the bright lights of the NFL, right? We want to hear about competing at the highest level and how those experiences shaped your life today. So making that jump now, I can only speak, to my own experience of the jump from high school to college and going from Battle Creek and like USA Today Offensive Player of the Year in Nebraska to walking in with Lawrence Phillips at the same position.
Yeah.
And realizing that I'm not really that good.
There's levels to this thing.
Right. So I obviously have lots of buddies that played in the NFL and that, I've talked to them, but, I think for everybody, it's a different experience, right? Like, so kind of tell us about that jump from UNO and dominating, right, to now, what year was this that you were undrafted, right?
Yeah, that was 03. Yeah.
03. So you're undrafted. What's that experience like? I have no idea. Like,
Yeah, well, you kind of do because it's similar. In terms of the physical component of it, I remember my first day at UNO, and it's not D1, but still, you're like, oh, this is a different level.
Yeah.
I need to use more tools immediately, and it's amazing how quickly you can learn when you have to. Well, in high school, I didn't have to learn. I bull rushed everybody. I just bull rushed every single person. Then in college, it's like, oh, okay, I got to add some moves here. And then you get to the NFL and you're like, holy smokes. But I had imposter syndrome when I got there. I mean, that sinking feeling where you're like, oh boy, I'm in over my head. I don't belong here. And pretty soon they're all going to figure out I don't belong here.
Yeah. That's a real feeling. I know it very well.
Yeah, but it's a good feeling to learn how to overcome in life. I think a lot of times when people have that they tuck their tail and run. Mm-hmm. And I think sports, I go back to just how important sports are. And the older I get, the more I notice, and I'm sure it's the same with you, because it's like you go through something in the real world and you think, man, I'm glad I went through that as kind of a test run when the stakes weren't as high. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I went through that. But the biggest adjustment for me was not even coming from a Division II school, but I blew my knee out my senior year at UNO. And so I had to take a medical red shirt and then come back. And physically, I just wasn't quite ready. So then when you couple that with coming from Division II and then the knee reconstruction, then you get there and not only is it the NFL, but it's the best team in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And so it was a high level, but I remember rookie minicamp. You've got these, for me, I'm a D tackle. You've got these pass rush moves that usually kind of work and everything, but you're always kind of trying to set up that one move that always works, right? Mm-hmm. And so I just do the basic dip and rip. I do a long arm, a straight arm. I do a bull rush. But the whole time I'm setting up this club move, like this Reggie White hump move. That was kind of my go-to, and I could get everybody with it. Well, I remember that first day in one-on-one pass rush drills against the offensive line, and I was going up against Dan Copen, who ended up starting for the Patriots forever.
He's got the biggest hands I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is a big dude. Yeah. So we were rookies together, and but I remember I set up all day, and then boom, I hit him with that hump move, and it worked. But he reset his feet like that. It was just like I had him completely lifted and twisted, and he's so quick and strong and had such great balance that it was just like he's like right in front of me, locking me out again. I'm like, ooh. And so it was that type of stuff. And then in college, we had some freak athletes. So we had a receiver, Marte Jenkins, who played in the NFL for a long time. He ran a 4.3 and had a 40-inch vertical, and, he could just do fantastic things. And we had a quarterback that was one of the best athletes I've ever seen. So the skill people didn't blow me away at all. The offensive linemen that were that big and fast was almost sick to see that, So physically that thing where you're like, how are you 6'6", 320? Your arms are as long as my legs and probably as strong as my legs too. And they're, like you said, the hands. In the NFL, everybody's big and strong and fast, right? It's the dude that wins the hands battle on the offensive or defensive line that really ends up winning that whole battle usually. And these guys have hands that are like, I have really big hands, but these guys, dwarf mine. And so
I shook Copen's hand. So Russ Hochstein was out there, right?
Yeah.
So him and my little brother Tyrone were pretty good buddies, and so I flew out to 2 games out there, and then and he got me tickets. And after the game, we had a couple beers with Dan Copen and Russ Hochstein in the parking lot of Gillette Stadium, and I shook this guy's hand, and he was at my elbow. I'm like, what?
He had quick feet too, man. He was a stud.
And I think I met Logan maybe it was Logan Mankins that had the really big hands, even bigger hands than Dan. They were just all massive people. They were like, I was around giants, like it was crazy.
Which is weird because you're used to being around big. You played in Nebraska when the offensive line, defensive line, they were both just sick, right? But then in the NFL,
it's just taller. Another level. Yeah. It's like,
they're just that much taller at every position and also huge.
some of that familiarity, right? Like being around the guys all the time, they just become the guys, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then you meet somebody new and you're like, holy cow, I didn't know they made people like that. Even though, like, you know,
Yeah.
Brennan Stye, I spotted Brennan Stye. He had 525 on the bench press, and he's like, Uhlir, come spot me. I was one of the last guys in the weight room. Always was. I love the weight room.
Yeah.
Still do. He's like, come spot me. I'm like, I'm not squatting this yet, Brendan. He's like, I got it. Like, so 525 for 2 on bench. I was like, you're kidding me. So it was
That
just,
dude was okay. So he was in New England my rookie year, and he and my brother were freshmen together in Nebraska. My brother Mitch played at, walked out of Nebraska in, I think 89, 90. And I think they were freshmen together, or anyway, they knew each other pretty well. And my brother had told me that and everything. So when Brendan came to the Patriots, which was maybe midway through training camp my rookie year, his locker was right next to mine. And you know how he is. Like,
yeah.
I've never seen a dude, his arms
yes,
so intimidating, you know. But then you talk to him, and he's like the nicest dude.
Nicest guy.
But
now
it's cool
like
because
a pickleball player.
What's that?
Now he plays a ton of pickleball. But anyway, sorry.
Oh, really? He's probably just a heck of an athlete. I don't know if he's probably trimmed down like a lot of those guys. But it was cool because I was able to reconnect my brother and him over the phone. And just so, it all comes full circle. But yeah, Brendan Stye, he was another dude where you saw him and you're like, boy, I don't belong here. It's a different level.
Yeah. That's who took me through my recruiting trip.
Oh,
because,
okay.
Because I went on the recruiting trip with Matt Hoskinson and Jay Korth, who were offensive linemen. And so Brendan Stye was our guy on. And I'm just like, this is a massive view. And I looked at Jay, and Jay and Matt were two of the top offensive linemen in the state. And I got to run behind them, right? Like,
I remember,
and I mean, they're standing next to Brendan Stye. I'm like, there's no way you guys are playing here. Like,
sorry, guys.
Sorry. Thanks
the writing's on the wall here.
Thanks for making me look good. But
no,
and and then Matt Matt did play quite a bit on that 97 team, and Jay Korth was a 4-year starter at Wyoming, got picked up by the Bears on the supplemental kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he said the same thing. He goes, Todd, I got there. Their feet are so good. He goes, and he's got an engineering degree. He's smart. He's done well for himself. He's like, I tried for a while, and I just said, nah, these guys are way too good. So,
but how it is, man. Your mind as a competitor, and you've been a competitor your whole life. You immediately start to make these little adjustments in your mind. It's like, well, what if I did this, and if I did that, and if I double down on this, and I quit doing that, so you just and eventually you have that one moment where you're like, well, I actually won that one. Maybe I do belong here. So you try and feed off that, and then you get your butt whooped the next day and you're like, well, I don't belong, but as long as that positive reinforcement is overcoming that negative reinforcement, you can keep going.
I think too, just showing up, right? Like, I tell my guys that I work with, you got to show up.
Yeah.
Like, you can't win if you don't show up. I mean,
sometimes it's the hardest part,
and you can't lose if you don't show up either. Right. Like, but you can lose if you don't show up.
Exactly.
So, and I think that's a lot of times guys that maybe didn't play sports or in not even at a high level, just sports in general, don't understand. Like, I never felt, even the 7 losses we had, like I lost the state championship. I lost the biggest game you can lose in high school. My junior year, that did nothing but fuel the next year to absolutely beat the socks off of everybody. Right.
Oh,
we learned from that mistake. We shouldn't have lost that game, but we did.
Never forget it.
We actually got whooped. Like, it was 28-6. It wasn't even close. Right. And that shouldn't happen, but it did. So it just, we could have tucked our tails and said we're no good, but it just made us better. Right.
Yeah. And I love that. I love that story because you're like, okay, now this is the standard. Now we know where the standard is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We thought we were at the standard. Well, the standard is a little bit different than what we thought. And that's okay. We'll adjust, we'll grow, and we'll set a even higher standard.
I would tell you that summer in the weight room at Battle Creek was pretty intense, man, because we didn't the freshman, Tommy would have been a sophomore that year.
Okay.
I mean, he he's like hardest summer workouts ever. And like, and we didn't need to do that. We would have probably won all of our games anyway, but we were like, there's not going to be even a question when we walk on the field. People will fold in front of us just by pure walk on the field, right? That was the mentality all summer. Is like, we're going to work so dang hard that there's not a question. Let's walk us through meeting Tom Brady for the first. Like, obviously, we got to talk about the GOAT, right?
You got it.
You have to. Like, I am not a Tom Brady fan. Just FYI, I've been a Chiefs fan since Marcus Allen was traded from the Raiders to the Chiefs, because I was a huge Marcus Allen fan. I wanted to be like him, but that didn't happen. So
he was amazing.
He was awesome. So, so I've always pretty much, I wouldn't say hated Tom. I respect him for what he's done, right? Like, his accomplishments are, and his story, of hey, I got 1 rep on scout team, and then I got 3, and then I got 6, But just meeting Tom Brady and being around a guy that operates at that, like, that's another level.
That's another level,
right? Like, he just operates at a different frequency. But
the most competitive person I've ever met in any walk of life. It was insane, his competitiveness.
Yeah.
But
you're
talking about kind of first impressions.
Yeah.
When I got to the NFL, we tested out, excuse me. We tested out the first day when everybody was back in the facility, not just the rookies, but everybody. Maybe it was the beginning of summer conditioning that year. And I remember laying down to bench, and the first dudes on the D line that benched, I'm like, they put 405 on, and I'm like, well, I could probably get 405 up, but no, they repped it 10 times. They just hit 10 and we're done. They could have kept going. But anyway, that was another one of those like, oh crap moments. But here's the weirdest thing. Seeing Tom Brady run the pro agility made me think, well, maybe I could actually do this. It was so bad. Right. He always looked like he was running on stilts.
Yeah.
But so physically he was probably one of the worst athletes he had to be the worst athlete, because a lot of those punters and kickers are pretty good athletes, actually. He had to be the worst athlete there, but obviously his intensity and his work ethic and his focus on every single thing that he can control overcame the lack of athleticism. And he knew that. It's not like it was an accident. He knew he had things to overcome athletically. So that's why I think it's just such a good lesson. It's like, you're not going to have all the tools. It's very rare that you have all of the tools, but can you work around it and maximize the things that you can control, to get it done. And he knew that. I have a funny story about him though. So he was like the best leader too. Like, he was the best teammate I ever had, because his work ethic and his competitiveness were intense, and he set a high standard and he expected you to hit that standard, but he also respected everybody. And he knew about culture, I think, more than anybody else. He had this innate leadership thing within him, and he knew that he had to build a culture, and he knew that to be great. And I think you probably know this from high school. I know it from winning state championships in wrestling in high school. Your guys that aren't very good have to be good enough to contribute, and we have to hold them to a high standard too. It's going to take everybody in the building. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady knew that. And so he was always cultivating these relationships. My second year, we had just won our first game in the playoffs. I think we played the Colts. I don't know. We had to buy the first round. Maybe it was the second round of the playoffs. We won. Everybody's celebrating in the locker room. He walks by my locker and says, hey, some of us are going to dinner tonight in Boston. If you and your wife want to come, we'd love to have you. And he gives me an address on a piece of paper. Awesome. I tell my wife, she's ecstatic. She has a crush on Tom Brady just like everybody else.
What woman doesn't? Yeah.
Which, by the way, it's one thing if your wife has a crush on a superstar in Hollywood, but if you're on the same team with them, it just hits different.
Yes.
We go there. We get cleaned up. We go to downtown Boston. When he goes to dinner, he can't just eat in a regular restaurant. He has to rent out. So he rented out this whole second level of this really fancy place. It was like an old castle looking thing. And the valet takes my car. We walk up this flight of stairs. At the top of it is this older guy. He reaches out his hand. Hi, I'm Tom Brady. And I said, you're not Tom Brady. I know Tom Brady. He goes, no, I'm the Tom Brady, the original. This is his dad. It was his dad. And anyway, we chatted up for 10 minutes. Super nice. He knew a bunch of people from Omaha. And then he said, well, anyway, they're in there. They're just having a drink before dinner. Go in there. So my wife and I go into the room. I expected it to be a bunch of teammates and wives. It was Tom Brady, his sisters, his mom and dad, one other couple from the team. And I'm like, why on earth would Tom Brady have my wife and I to dinner when I'm like, I'm on the practice squad at that point. Mm-hmm. Like, why, But we sat down to dinner and I sat next to his dad, which is incredible because he give me all sorts of insight on Tommy. They call him Tommy, like you guys call Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy.
Your family.
Yeah.
But I asked him at one point, what's next for Tom? He's already won 2 Super Bowls. He's got it all. We're going to win it again. We knew in 2004 we were going to win it. It was just like we knew, like you guys did in high school. And he goes, I said, it's politics. What is it? And he goes, people will never understand Tommy. I said, why is that? Well, Tommy will never quit. It will never be enough for him. It doesn't matter the award. It's not even about that. It's about proving himself. I said, why though? That's like sick almost. And he said, it's because of those girls. And he pointed at his sisters. And I said, what do you mean by that? He goes, Tommy's the runt of the family. He's the worst athlete. He was the tall, skinny, youngest, awkward, always tagging along to his sister's stuff. And they're all American athletes in high school. They're always on the news. They always had articles written about them. They're full D1 scholarship. And then there's little Tommy. Tommy was always an afterthought who always had to prove himself. And I said, well, yeah, but I think he's proved himself. And he said, not to Tommy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And that was such a weird insight. And at that time, he had won 2 Super Bowls. Who would have? I didn't know he was going to win 5 more.
Right. Awesome.
But back to that story about him inviting me. He was always doing stuff like that. He was always inviting people in. He was always building culture. Nothing was an accident for him.
Awesome. All right. We got to wrap up this segment, and it's brought to you by Window World of Lincoln, America's exterior remodeler. From windows to siding to doors, nobody does it better or backs it stronger. Schedule your free in-home estimate today at windowworldlincoln.com. Stick around. We got more coming your way after the break.
Ah, the sounds of back to school time.
Oh.
There's plenty to about this time of year. So let Cane's take something off your plate by putting something on it. Like the most craveable hand-battered cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. It's going to be a great school year.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
If the power is out, keep your fridge and freezer closed. Perishable food lasts 4 hours in the fridge, and frozen food lasts up to 2 days if it stays below 40 degrees. See more tips at les.com/safety.
Hi, I'm Eli Barnes, Assistant Vice President at Midwest Bank at the 70th and Pioneers and 27th Jamie Lane locations. I love working with families and small businesses right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Banking shouldn't be complicated, and that's why we make it personal. Whether it's opening your child's first account or securing a loan for your next big step, I'm here to help. Stop in today and say hello. I'd love to meet you. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law Group and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln Families as their realtor for more than 31 years, and I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge family shares the same client focus.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Back to the Power Hour with Todd Uhlir on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to the final round of the Power Hour and I got Buck Rasmussen, Super Bowl champ. He had great stories about growing up in Nebraska, UNO, NFL. Buck, you hung up the pads finally. And so what was that transition like moving from the NFL into everyday life?
It was interesting. My body was so shot physically from all this. I blew my knee out twice and I had it reconstructed twice in college, both shoulders reconstructed. I've had my back fused, probably some alignment there with you and I on a lot of that stuff.
Of it, yeah.
But I was ready to be done. I'll tell you that much. And so I transitioned to the business world. And I've been in sales since 2005, one capacity or another. And I love sales because I love the hard work of it and the relationships and everything. But in the last, call it 3 years, I created this venture called Epic Journey. And it's motivational speaking. That's the main component of it. But I've also been doing a lot of consulting with men. I didn't really set out to do that. But as you know, with what you do, there's a real need for men, mostly in their 30s, 40s, maybe 50s, to create this kind of different identity that isn't associated necessarily with drinking or partying or even golf or anything. More of I want to recreate my identity physically and mentally, so the next 30 or 40 years are even better than the previous, but they've got to reset. So I've been doing that. That's a little bit of an offshoot, but back to the original, my main focus is doing motivational speaking, typically to high school teams.
Yeah, so if they high school teams want to have you come speak, they just go to buckrasmussen.com and contact you that way.
They do. Buckrasmussen.com. It's got, my phone number, all the details, specifics of kind of what I go over. I'm not a social media guy really, but I've been putting a lot of stuff out there. And honestly, I've been getting a lot of responses. Just direct message me on social media and we can contact. However, the fun part about it is, you learn a lot. I'm sure you've had so many different ventures in business, most of them relating to physical fitness, right? You learn that really there's no rules when you're creating your own thing.
Right.
You can just make mistakes and learn from it. So I put a lot of content out there. Some of it's good, some of it's terrible. Some people, latch
Love
on
it.
and some people
Some
don't.
hate it.
But over time, as long as it's like that sports journey, as long as you're always getting that momentum going forward, it feels really good. And so I've had a lot of that. But what I've learned recently is that the coaches that get it, and the coaches that want to partner and have me in, understand that what I'm saying, and typically I talk about grit. Grit is the main focus of my message, because that's me. I came from really low circumstances, and I had a lot of adversity along the way that I had to overcome. And so that's grit. And once you get it, you're stronger for the next time it comes around. So I talk a lot about that. And then I talk about how much trust is built within a team from individuals showing grit. When you show grit, your teammates are watching, they follow you. And the high school coaches that get that understand that I'm just reinforcing their message.
Awesome. Well, Buck, I'll tell you what, we got so much more that we could talk about. We could need like a couple more hours. I'm going to have you back on another episode soon. But man, an hour goes super fast here. So thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. We'll definitely get back on here soon. And listen, guys, thanks everybody for tuning into the Power Hour. And, until next time, stay strong, set the bar high, and keep chasing greatness. God bless. Much love. Peace out.
Thanks, Todd.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Uhlir, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln families as their realtor for more than 31 years, and I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge